presentation. Please participate. Okay, can you all see my presentation?
Yes,
because I cannot see anyone.
Yeah, we can see it, Raina.
Okay, and I'm going to. All right, so let's get started. And my name is Raina Flower. Those of you who don't know me, I will mention that I did live in Ireland for an extended period of time, so that I do come up with expressions that if they don't make sense, I would appreciate if you stop me and ask me to explain it in a different way, okay? Aside from that, I am a bit of a slave driver. We're not going to have breaks because we started late anyway. So I'm going to try and keep going. So if you do need a break, Katie, you're in the room with them, right?
Yep.
That's what, if you make note, because we are recording it anyway. I'm going to start with an overview of the purchasing process, and then we're going to go into the hub. We're going to talk a little bit of the hub, what you're looking at, that interface, and then we're going to go straight into the requisition program, which is the one that you're going to be using. And at any time, if you have any questions, please let me know. We're happy to help, okay?
Okay.
Any questions so far?
No.
They didn't give you donuts and probably no coffee either, right? So you're
No,
you're
that's-
okay.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm in trouble, Raina.
Okay. So let's get started. Anything that you do in Tyler, and this is just for you to be aware, is going to any program that you're introduced to, any training that you go into, anything that you can do in our system is based on what we call role-based access control. The reason I want you to be aware of that is because everybody would have their own individual menu, their own access to things that they use. So you're not going to be seeing a full menu of items that you have nothing to do with. Does that make sense? So a role-based access control is going to be very relevant to you, because as you go into training, if there is anything that you cannot see and you need at the beginning when you start the testing, this is the time to let Floyd and everybody else in the team know, okay? It will affect your menu. It will affect what you can do. It will affect, there's also global settings that will be determined for the organization that will determine what you can do in the program. So those three things are very relevant, okay? There's another big word called workflow that you're going to be also listening or hearing every so often. Workflow and business rules. Business rules is the word we use for the instructions telling the system what that transaction, what approvals and notifications, right, need to happen before that transaction goes through the system. And I like to look at this picture because it makes more sense. This is what workflow is. That running around we used to do with the document and get everybody to sign it. We want you to do it in the system. Does that make sense to you guys? No?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so when we talk purchasing module, when we talk purchasing, we are referring to not only the requisition, but also the purchase order. What we're trying to do is make this process as seamless and as user-friendly as we can, while still complying with what you need. So the requisition is just an ask. And what I want you to remember is when you ask for it, when you create the requisition and you put in the correct accounts that you wanted to use for the purchase, it's not going to encumber the funds. So accounting is going to be very happy with that. They're not going to be holding on to that money until it's approved and it becomes a purchase order. While it's a requisition, it is simply an ask. It is going through the process of approval without holding on to those accounts. Once it gets approved, that's when it becomes a purchase order. That's when it has what I call commitment issues, because that's when it's holding on to the money in the account. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So if you were to write a requisition and you send it for approval and it gets rejected, you have two options. You can delete it, or you can review it, fix it, and release it again so that it goes through that approval process again. Once it becomes a purchase order, is different because it has that encumbrance, what we call encumbrance. It's holding on to the money. So once it's a purchase order, if it has been already posted to your accounts, if you wanted to make a change, that is done through a purchase order change order. And it's because of the commitment issues. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes.
I'm hoping. Okay, I don't see you, so feel free to ask me, if not. There's different types of purchase orders. We deal with two types. One is called, a requisition that becomes a purchase order. One is the normal one, and one is the blanket. And we'll be more in detail when we get to the program, okay? So at the moment, what I want you to remember is that you will write a requisition. It is a request. The system will do a budget check, let you know that there is budget for that requisition, and then you will just release it for the approval process. So you're not going to forget the release, okay? That's the most important thing to remember, to release it so that it goes through that approval process. Once it's approved, it will automatically become a PO. It will then have commitment issues. You will be notified that it has become a purchase order as the originator of that purchase order, okay? And when you get notified, you can go and look at it in the process as well. Any questions on that?
Oh.
So for you, it's going to be pretty easy in the sense that you're going to enter it as a requisition, and we hope it will be easy for you, right? You enter the information, you create the requisition, you attach the documentation, you might need 3 quotes, you might need, whatever it is that you're doing before. Once you have it done, you release it for approval, and then it's out of your hands. They will let you know when it's approved. You will be informed through the process that it has become a purchase order and it's going to the vendor, okay? And there is the basics, how it moves. You create the requisition, goes through workflow. Remember those big words. It gets approved, converted to a PO. Purchase order is generated. Again, it gets printed, posted, received. Then the vendor sends you an invoice that matches the PO for payment, and it gets paid and liquidated and closed. Okay? And the system does most of it. I have a little graphic because I don't know if you've noticed already, I'm very visual, and I think visual is best, to show you that process. So here is where we're talking today, at that requisition process. So you're going to be getting your quotes the same way that you usually do. You're entering it into the requisition, and then you release it for approval. Okay, once it gets approved, it becomes a purchase order that then gets sent to the vendor. The vendor is going to send you the goods that is then received in the system. Invoice The vendor will send you an invoice after you have received your goods, and then hopefully using one of our programs, it gets paid. Okay. Any questions on that?
No.
It sounds pretty good, I hope. No? And those of you who know me already, I love John Travolta. This is my way to wake you up, Katie. Let's go in and sneak in your system.
Okay.
Let's go in and look.
Hold on, let me join the meeting because I forgot I'm going to share my screen.
Okay.
Katie just
Is
woke
ev-
up. She's sleeping.
Shut up, Casey.
Everybody else is looking at what you're looking at right now is the hub. The hub is your window to all products Tyler, not just Munis. Okay. So what you're looking at is what we call the hub. At the very top, you would have what you're looking at is also what we call the landing page of the hub, which is something that Floyd and the team have created so that you will open it, go in. When you sign in first, that's the page that opens for you. If you notice, and I'm doing this blindly, but I'm sure you can see it, there's the cards at the top that say approval, notification, and alerts. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Those are the workflow. So if you're going to get notified of something, that's where it's going to come in. If you're going to have an approval, that's where it's going to come in. If you are an approver, be aware that if there is an approval waiting for you to look at, the process, that transaction will not move on until somebody approves it. It could be that there's more than one person and somebody beats you to it, but it's still going to show here. You know, when you see an approval, that is actually holding that transaction until it's approved. Okay, a notification is not going to hold the transaction. The notification is just letting you know that something happened. All right. So if somebody in your department or your purchase order got created out of your requisition, this is where you're going to find out. Okay. Make sense? Then as you look down, you have this is what we call a page in the hub, and a page is made of all these little cards. And one card, you know that they're cards because they have the 3 dots in the corner. Can everybody see that? Does that make sense to everyone? You have those 3 cards. Sorry, the cards, the 3 dots, the vertical ellipses in the corner.
Yes.
Okay, so if I look at Tyler menu card, see the word card, at the corner, it has 3 dots. Look at my menu underneath. If I start clicking, and I think Katie, you're here, right? Click financials. Click budget processing. Click salary and benefit. Notice how the menu is quite extensive, and everybody might have a different menu based on their role in the organization. Okay. But what I want you to be aware of is when that menu starts getting very long, you can close it manually. You know, Katie, show them how you can close, go back a little, scroll up, just close yourself there. Or you can go to the 3 dots and click refresh and let the system do it for you. Okay? Make sense?
Yes.
Did everybody do that?
Yes.
I had refresh and it went boom. Man, I got this.
Okay.
Yeah.
We good?
Yes.
Okay. Another thing you can do quite easily, right, is go to that search and type a keyword or part of the name of the program that you're looking for. So if I typed account inquiry, can you see it says 3 next to it? What that means, that number, is that there are 3 instances of the same program in your menu. There's a little bit of a duplication of that program in the menu. And that happens because some people might not have access to all of the menu that you do, but they need access to account inquiry, at least in one of the areas. Does that make sense?
Yes, I'm indeed bad.
Okay, click, go to the X, Katie, the X in front, and that's how you release the search, okay? Type the word central, and central will, no S, and I would like everyone to do that, if you don't mind. Type the word central. Central is going to show you all the central programs that you are able to work with, if you will. So if you scroll down,
Sorry, I was helping someone.
yeah, stop me if I'm going too fast, okay?
You're fine.
Okay, when you scroll down, I want you to see if you have Purchase Order Central. Right click on that one and add it to your favorites. That's the easy way. Right click
Make that the favorite.
and add to favorites. So what's going to happen is anytime you need, right, a page that you're looking for, you can do a search. You can right click and add to favorites. Click on, go down to Vendor Central and add to favorites as well. Right click, add to favorites.
Get the wrong question.
Oh, we still have to do it on our computer.
No, it'll be saved, but this is test. Raina, they'll have to redo this when they're in production, correct?
Oh yes, this is just, that's why I'm not making you do too many. I'm just trying to show you, to give you a concept of how it works.
You remembered how to do all.
Hey, Floyd, I don't have Vendor Central, if that's something I need.
It could be something you need, it could be something you won't be using. Does that make sense? It's, that Floyd will know better.
You have it, then you should have it.
I thought you had to go on Vendor Central. Vendor Central? Yeah, that's what she just said, eh? That's right. Right click and then left. Right click.
Click and then left. I've never heard it called left click.
So it's gonna be
Dude.
I'm ahead of the game.
Okay, so they're moving okay, Katie?
Oh, here.
I'm trying
I got nothing. You sure did. Yeah.
Katie, scroll up and delete the X, the central. And don't forget, when you're doing this search, never put an S. Go to financials, go to purchasing. Okay, actually, and stop there. Financials, this is for everybody's consumption. Financials is our product, right? Purchasing is our module. And then you have a little bit of an order, and you will notice this in all the programs. There will be setup, which a lot of the time you won't have in your menu, because setup is usually done by IT or the lead team. Purchase order processing, on the other hand, is any program that's being used for the actual process. Purchase order inquiry and reports will have all the reports underneath. And then bid management, contract management are separate modules. Okay, so purchase order processing, Katie, click on that little arrow and you see there all of the programs that relate to process. And that's where requisitions is. That's the one we're going to use today. And you already have it in your favorites, Katie. So I think they might have it as well. Okay. Any questions so far?
Nope.
How would you close the menu real quick, Katie?
Oh, shoot. Sorry, I clicked the wrong thing.
It's okay. I did say quick. That's why. Okay.
How come she got general revenue?
Because I have more than you.
Okay.
Necessities.
Yeah, you don't want anything else.
At the moment today, we're really only dealing with purchasing. So, but I do want to give you an idea of the window that you work from so that you know how to go back to it later on, at least start getting familiar with it. On the right-hand side, you have your favorites, which hopefully when we do hub training, we will be able to go in and modify your favorites so that you see that pencil will be getting you to go in and make it work for you. At the moment, your favorites that you right-clicked and sent there would be under a heading that says financials. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, and there's one called recent activity. Recent activity is hard-coded in the program. It's going to be a dynamic category of the last 10 places that you've been so that you don't get lost. So if you were working in a program and you forgot where it was, you can go to recent activity and find it quickly. And when you hover over it, it tells you the long address, how you got there. Does that make sense? But you can just click on it and it'll bring you to it. Okay? So there's a lot of tools that are going to be available to you for navigation. On the right-hand side, it says Tyler links. You're also going to have maybe quick links, links to areas that are of interest to you, like your city website, like maybe your Twitter feed, maybe a third-party software or ESS. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And that's going to make your life easier when you come in the mornings, all right? And that's the whole idea of the hub. On the left-hand side, Katie, I want you to be aware that the sidebar is a menu. And when you click on the lines in front of the logo, you can see what these represent. So you do have a Tyler menu on the side as well, which works exactly the same as the card. This is actually the live menu. Click on Tyler menu. It has the refresh in the bottom. And if you have any other programs that you are working on, they're going to be available here. Because the whole concept that we're trying to get you guys to work with is the Tyler identity, which means that you have a single sign-on. You sign in once and you have access to all Tyler products using that same sign-in. So you don't have to remember 5 different passwords and sign-ins, right, for every program that you work with Tyler. Okay. So again, you have the search at the top, you have the refresh here, and you can close. Because at the moment, it's just to make you aware. The favorites is exactly the same as the card. Pages is going to offer you the availability of pages in the hub that are going to give you information. So this is just a very quick picture, and I'm hoping you will have some hub training later on, okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
We hope. Now, we're going to go now and straight away click in requisitions. You can do it from your favorites or you can go find it in the menu. And let me know that everybody is looking at the program and it opened for them. When it first opens, like Katie's, what it's doing is it's reading your permissions. If you have permission to create a requisition, it shows you the plus. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
If you don't have permission, it won't. Now, before anybody clicks, don't click anything at all first, okay? Wait for me.
You're so smart.
Did it open for everyone, Katie?
Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
She's helping the dummies in the class.
Yep.
There is no such thing.
Oh, yes, there is.
When it comes to these, yeah.
Did you hit the plus?
No, don't hit the plus yet.
Get out of that.
Wow, get
Just
out.
hit close.
Is that what happened?
Okay, you went,
Yeah.
go to requisition, not requisition. Requisition entry.
Trying to keep up, Charlie.
Okay,
Yeah.
hold on. Do you have a plus there? Okay, yeah.
I
They're
hit the
okay.
red button, don't hit the red button.
The reason I don't want you to go and click on the plus yet is because I want you to know that this window is also very helpful. Okay, do you see where it says advanced search?
Yep.
Click on advanced search.
Left or right? Left. Left.
What you can do in this page is create a search that you can save so that you don't have to be creating it every time you come in here. That's the first benefit, okay? So I'm going to say fiscal year 2022. Are we in 22 or 23, Floyd? I'm not remembering now.
22 still.
Okay. And then
I woke up, we was in 20.
you see at the corner, it says entered by. Don't enter anything yet, but you could put in only your name if you only want to keep an eye on your own requisitions, on the ones that you entered. In this case, I'm going to go and say department. So Katie, if you go to department on the left, down underneath, but you could do a search on any of these parameters. Do you see how that could be very helpful? Now, this being a new program, there's probably only some under finance. So just click finance, Katie, so that we show them what it looks like. I want you to save it. Click on the save, put capital F, capital Y for fiscal year 22, and, you know, underscore or dash FIN, capital FIN. So you know that it's the finance. How you name your search is how it makes sense to you, okay? And you say, okay. And it's going to let you know save has been successful. Where it becomes really fun is that you can also say, anytime I come into this window, I want that search to open. You see startup search? So that you don't open to a blank screen. Again, options. And click save again if you decided that it was a startup search. Yep, and then click search. So we don't have any on that one. Could we have it under IT? Let's do another search. Yeah. Clear search criteria at the top. Oops. Yeah. Because we're going to create a different, okay, 2022 Department Business Services. And save as, not save. Capital F, capital Y, 2022 IT.
There we go.
And let's see, did we get any? Yay, we have one. I just wanted to show them what it would look like. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes sense, Rana.
But you see how easy it would be for you to keep track of your requisitions that are in your department or entered by you, because you'll be able to see them here. You can see the headings, requisition, department, vendor. If there was a vendor there, you would be able to see it. Entered by, status, and you can click on any of those headings and it will sort it. Okay? You can also Look at the top where it says my searches. At the very top, on the left. Katie, the little star, yeah? And you should be able to see the searches that you have created. You can search them again by just clicking on them. See how easy it is for you to go from one to another. You could be keeping an eye on somebody. You could be keeping an eye on an account, you know, in requisition. So this is a great way for you to do that quickly, okay? You can also do, if somebody asked you, what are the requisitions that are in from your department in the last fiscal period? You could do a search. You could then Excel. You see the Excel here? And do a report for them of those requisitions. Okay? And that will automatically put it in an Excel spreadsheet, whatever you have in your file. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay, be aware on the right-hand side, it says items per page 15. You're only looking at 15. If you might need more, always check here to see if there's more options, okay? Now let's go to plus. Let's go to add. Anybody have any questions? No? Feel free to ask, guys, because this is the moment to ask. Okay. So we're looking at the requisition program. First, I'm going to show you it, the whole program, the whole form in its entirety. And then we're going to look at a short entry form. Okay. So you would have a lot of these default for you. That makes sense? Was everybody able to open a requisition?
Yes.
Okay, I want you to notice at the very top, it says 2022-3. Which ones do you guys have?
6,
5.
4.
Notice anything there? It's automatically taking into account, right? It says created and it should say your name that you're signed in as.
yes,
It's also telling you the date it was created. All of that is defaulting for you. It goes down to fiscal year, requisition number, and created date. And it's also putting it in the system, correct? The department that's defaulting there is the department that appears as your user in your user attributes. Do you guys have different departments there?
Yes.
Yes.
Would you ever create a requisition for a different department?
I would, but none of these guys would.
Okay, so is that the correct department for you guys?
No, you're supposed to
Go on.
Is it the correct department? Is it?
Yes, mine is.
Okay, if it isn't, this is the moment to let Floyd know.
Yes, they're correct.
Okay. I want you to understand that what you're looking at right now is what we call the summary page of the requisition. It's not the detail page. So when you're looking at it, right, the description might be requisition for office supplies in general. Does that make sense? It's not the specific items, it's the description of it global. So what are you ordering? So let's put it in, Katie. Office supplies for the department. Okay. Tab. The buyer is something that might or might not be applicable to you, and it's something that might default as well, depending on your department. Okay. So for now, just know that there's an entry where you might use that. Go up to type. You see the type? Remember, we mentioned that there's two types that you guys are going to deal with, okay? Normal and blanket are the two that you will deal with. If you had a department emergency one, you would have to deal with Floyd or Michelle or somebody else to help you with that. But the ones that you would work with are going to be normal or blanket. What's the difference? A normal requisition is the requisition you create that's usually liquidated and paid by one or two invoices the most. That makes sense? Your normal requisition that becomes a normal PO that gets liquidated, you know, that gets closed, if you will, by one invoice or usually maybe two. Does that make sense? Well, a blanket one is the one that's usually received by amount, and it's one that's going to be liquidated by many invoices. Like it could be a service, it could be something that's received in increments, and a blanket purchase order, you know, it become a blanket purchase order, could last a whole year. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And you usually receive it in amount. Can you guys think of an example that you might have, or do you think normal will be the most?
I'm going normal. Casey spends all our money.
We do a blanket PO, Raina, for like our office supplies through Staples.
Okay. So for the moment, that's the way you're using it. Okay. So in any case, for now, we're going to say normal. If you were doing a blanket, you would select blanket and you would put receive by amount on the right. Does that make sense? So which is the most common one that they would do?
Normal.
Normal. Okay. So the normal one can be received by either amount or quantity. Correct? Okay. So then review is a code that your organization might or might not use, where what you're doing is letting people know what stage your requisition is in if you haven't released it. It could be that you are reviewing the certificate, you know, you haven't received the third quote, you haven't, you know, you're checking on something. So that's a code that might be used by your organization, okay? Do me a favor, click on the review to see if we had any anyway.
No, it doesn't do
No.
anything.
Okay, but it's something that might or might not be used. That needed by an PO expiration, needed by is an ask because this is for the whole requisition. So we're not going to touch it here. PO expiration is not something you set up. It's usually set up by AP. So scroll up. On the right-hand side, this is letting you know that there's going to be project strings, project accounting applied. What does that mean? Is that if there is a project that's linked to this purchase, you would have that string, that's what it's called, the specific account for that project that you're going to enter, okay? And that will be discussed later on. As you guys move on. But what's important is that you know that if this is checked, the project strings show up. Okay, so if you're ever missing them and you need them, you can ask that it be turned on, or you can go in and look. Notify originator when converted or rejected is defaulting. And that's what I want you to be aware of. Things will default, which means that they're not things that you have to worry about. And that's the good news. That notify originator of overages it usually applies when you have a warehouse. It might apply to you guys. What it would do is let you know that there's been an overage in the receiving end. Received by amount is the one that we do need you to interact with, because received by amount would be the one that you use if the goods are going to be received by amount. In this case, you can leave it unchecked, Katie, because it's either one. Does that make sense? That would limit it only to be received by amount, which is usually the case with blanket. Three-way match is not something that you would check. It would be already defaulted, inspection required, and that's why they're grayed out. Okay, scroll down and let's add an item. Let's go and buy something, right? So what would you like? We are going to want the item is from the warehouse. So we're going to tap through that. If you had contracts, you would link it to a contract, skip that. If you wanted to link it to a commodity, you would use that. So what do you need to enter? What are we buying? So let's buy some desks.
Hold on, Raina.
Mhm.
Jeff has an unexpected error.
Okay.
Mine.
Good move.
Go down to description.
Mine is. Where? I've been desk.
But that's important because you want to know what you know, what happened.
Try to refresh it at the top.
Well, no, you, what's that?
Because we're working with virtual environments, don't be afraid, just close it and open it again.
Yeah, close that. That's your whole tab.
This is
And then go back to your requisition.
We haven't entered that much that you cannot enter quickly, okay?
To add.
I got your address wrong.
Yeah.
Let's
Who
try to
put
add
this
an
in
item.
this system? I don't even
You
know the
okay?
Going to the reply.
Jeff's still not getting in. He closed out of it.
Oh, the whole thing? Okay.
Oh, I lost everything. I know, I didn't see it, it's okay. I wish I had some donuts. I wish I had some more coffee.
That's good, more practice for
Okay.
you.
Yeah.
Try adding
Is there a
items.
bottle of water?
You want one?
Is there a bottle of water? Is there a bottle of water?
Should be
Yeah.
somewhere in the kitchen.
Hold on, I'll get you one.
There you go.
Keep trying here.
Get 6 of them. We're really hurt.
Is he in,
No,
Katie?
No, he's
He's still working on it.
I can't change mine.
no, it still says I have an unexpected error.
You might have to,
He's mine.
yeah, these are virtual environments, you know, are for testing. So guess what? You broke it. No, I'm kidding.
Problem.
That's okay.
Get ready, we're gonna have lots.
This is gonna be a train wreck, Charlie.
No, it ain't.
Not at all. Don't be jinxing it.
Okay. Okay.
All right. I gotta change my address.
Can't, that's hard drive set.
Oh,
Nothing you can.
I right clicked it, I left clicked it, it won't do that.
Ask away if you're having trouble remembering or anything at all.
It comes through in a clutch, you know?
A normal click in the menu will bring you there. A
Yeah.
right click will save it to your favorite.
Guess
Casey, you
I'm-
get one more.
I guess I'm watching because mine still won't work.
That's fine. You can go on right now.
Are they in?
No, Jeff's is still having issues.
We can make it work though.
Do you want to clear his cache? And I'll keep going if he doesn't mind sitting with someone else. Well,
Yeah, we're fine, he can look at mine.
And
Well-
I have you on the TV too, so he can watch my screen too.
okay. Okay. But we'll have to make sure that get in.
Floyd, do you want to remote into his and try to clear his cache and then so we can keep going?
Which one?
What training is it?
4.
Did yours work, Charlie?
Yeah, I got nothing money.
Is everyone else okay?
Yep.
Okay.
Surprisingly, yes.
Stop. It's not. Okay. So notice here in description, right? It's the only one required right now. down below. So you should all have entered, the ones who can, desks, because we're going to buy office supplies, remember, but this is the line for desks, right? And then vendor, you have two options. I'm going to show you the easy one first. Start typing S for Staples. And you see how quick? That's my favorite. What's the other way? You can click on the three dots and you can see all the vendors we have. You can do the filter at the bottom. So again, many options. Which one works for you? The one that works for me is typing it in. And when you accept the vendor, notice that it immediately puts in the address
Chicago, Illinois.
that's in the vendor.
It's got the wrong address for my department.
What is it?
Okay,
It's got 210, mine actually 212.
go click on the word vendor. Notice that the word vendor is blue. That means it's a link. So go click on the word vendor and notice the address that's showing, right? For the PO emailing, and notice the one, if there's any different, based on permissions, whether you would be able to make any changes here. On the right-hand side, you can see what the delivery method for this vendor is. Can everybody see print?
Yes.
Okay, so close it, say okay. Down below, you have ship to. This is where the goods are going to go to. Again, you can close this a minute. You can look for the filter, but go to the word ship to. This will default based on your department. Does that make sense? So you guys should have your department shipped to there. Does everybody have that?
Yeah.
If you needed to change it, you can change it here, or you can change it by clicking on the word. So do me a favor and go back to the ship to, because there's other entries I want you to be aware of here. So you see the ship to address, the bill to address, the ship to email, bill to email. Because nowadays in our world, if we want to download a downloadable course, they need to know what email to ship it to, correct? You also have a reference because maybe you want them to know, you have a reference that you need them to use for this purchase. Okay, office number 24, whatever reference would help you as well. Is there any special handling? So you could do any of these here and say, okay,
You can ship your details in.
is your ship tos coming in okay? And bill tos?
No.
Mine is.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, but they should have defaulted. Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so close here, say okay. Okay. Quantity, how many are we getting, Katie? Let's get 4, 5, yeah. How much do they cost? 250, I don't know. How many are desks nowadays?
Right.
59.
Jesus.
I'll just lock that.
Okay, unit of measure. Very important that you be aware of units of measure. Katie, go to the word unit of measure. Keep an eye on that. If there's ever a unit of measure missing of something that you order, you need to bring it up to Floyd. Okay? Because you might need it to be created in the system, and the sooner you notice that, the better. Okay?
Hey, Raina.
Yes.
Casey's trying to put in a quantity and it's grayed out. Why would that be?
Because he might have put in that he was receiving by amount. Does he have a blanket PO, blanket requisition, or a normal?
Paying attention.
Um,
You broke it, Casey.
I don't
Just
know.
you. That's okay. Tell him to, we'll look at it a minute. What does he have? He can enter a quantity?
Yes,
He can't, no.
can't.
Okay. What can you enter?
Everything else, the amount.
Everything else, but everything on the right side is blacked out, like the.
But he, oh, yeah, that.
Do me a favor and go down to where it says cancel.
Okay,
Click on cancel.
Mm-hmm.
And it should bring you back to the front page.
okay, I'm there.
And now look at the top. Does it say normal or blanket?
Normal,
And we have to see what you clicked
Yeah.
on that.
He has received by amount clicked. Unclick it. And then click these three.
top there.
Oh, just the top two. And then save.
Which computer is that?
No, he's okay. I think they're okay. They just found
Okay.
it.
Jeff is still
Yeah.
having issues though, Floyd.
He's
And now Matt.
Okay, is it working now?
Desks. Just 1 second. Oh wait, no. Go office supplies then.
Back to square one.
Does it make sense why you had the issue?
Yeah.
Okay. Because if it makes sense, you will remember. So it's a learning thing.
Okay, it's fixed now.
We got it.
Thank you, sir. So now make sure that you keep an eye on those unit of measures, okay? Because you might need more. So then tab is your friend in all of Tyler, okay? On Munis programs. Is there, this discount percent will usually default from the vendor. It is rare that, you guys enter it, but just in case, those are things that are decisions for your organization, okay? Notice that it has done the total. It's 1,000. Does everybody have that?
Have the total.
Line item total.
Could you do
What am I
four
supposed to
desks
put
at 250?
$250 each, not $1,500.
I had to start all over.
That's okay. This is great because you want to get used to it.
You can do whatever you
Yes,
want.
No, he needs to follow along. Don't get lost.
How do I get rid of that?
Who's lost? Did I lose anyone?
Someone's
250.
Not yet.
Okay, good.
04.
Floyd's still working on mine.
This one won't
Vibrating?
change.
Brad's won't change either.
Floyd, are you still
Mine
working on
won't
mine?
change.
I don't know if I have one on board.
It's okay.
Do I need to be?
Yeah, 4.
Freaking Casey, you guys don't pay
I
attention.
didn't do nothing.
See, look at mine.
How did you?
I'm driving right along.
Katie, are you back in? Are you guys all right?
Yeah, 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay.
Check desks.
Let me know if you need me.
That's Staples or ST.
I'll finish you tight. You see her?
How are we doing?
We're good.
Okay. So now you guys have entered what you're buying. You want to tell it what accounts you're going to use. So you see down below, it says enter project string on the left, and on the right, it has GL account. If you were entering a project string, it would be entered first. That's why it's on the left, because it will automatically enter the GL account for you, okay, that it's linked to. In this case, we're going to go straight to GL account. What GL account means is the general ledger account that's going to be used to pay for what you're buying. Make sense? And it's defaulting by department some of it already. So all you have to do is click on the three dots and you're going to see all the accounts that relate to your, that you can see for this. So scroll down and they should all be expense accounts. Scroll down, Lloyd. There's 47 accounts that Katie can see.
What?
If there were three, I don't do it. I don't know.
You do it 3 times, you're like 160.
How are we doing, guys?
I'm making sure they all got it.
I don't have.
Okay, do enter GL account.
Click the deal, insurance. Oh, I will. I hit the.
And then hit the 3 dots under the word clear.
Okay.
And then you're gonna be 6013, so scroll down. That's your office supplies.
I usually ask Debbie.
So, yeah, hit that.
You should be able to only see your expense accounts. Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah, so when they entered their accounts, it's now red. It says,
Yeah, they have no budget. They're in
Okay.
trouble.
you can still do a PO to that account though, right?
They can't, you can, because you have override permission.
Okay, so
Yeah, that girl.
Okay, that when you see it in red, it means there's no budget. So, and that means, you know, it's a great way for you to know where your budget stands. Does that make sense? Now,
Budget's always over.
I'm maxed out.
you're all maxed out? Okay.
I normally am.
Well, now you're in trouble because you won't be able to put it through. And the idea is to give you a better picture so that when you're doing your budget, do you know what I mean? It helps. In train, they probably do need override permission, Floyd, to keep going.
Okay.
They all.
But in real life, you're not going to get override permission. Does that make sense?
Did you get in?
Yes.
And I love the way I'm telling you that you're not going to get override permission. Michelle, I'm sorry.
The clear button.
Just keep it up, Frida.
Huh?
Marla,
Michelle, am
Keep
I
it up.
wrong?
Nope.
Floyd, are you gonna go in and give them all
No
override?
money.
Only in train, in test, sorry. Yes.
They ain't got no money.
That's correct.
But who's the one who told me he always goes over?
Casey.
Casey, you're gonna get familiar with the red.
Yes, I will.
But you see how it tells you what your budget is and how you went over it. And there is a budget summary. You can see that little budget summary. It would show you. Now
Do I
we're
need to
going
do this for each user's data file?
for their role, in their role. You know, the
Okay.
department role that they probably all have.
Yeah, they're all
It's
under
in-
general, so it should be easy.
Yeah.
Just give me a minute here.
But can everybody see that little summary is telling you that account is over when you put your transaction in by 1,000.
Yes.
So it's going to be a great tool and to help you keep an idea on Mr. Budget. Okay, while they're looking at that, Katie, let's keep going so that we have everything else done. Scroll down. There's an area called optional details. Again, depending on the areas that you would have, you might be tracking manufacturer, you might be tracking the bid, you might have our program. It all depends on the programs that you have and what the organization decides. But for the moment, the only one that I'm going to draw your attention to is on the right-hand side. It says required by. Because if you remember, I told you to ignore the global, but it might be that one of the items that you're buying, you know, in this case, the desktop, they're needed before a certain date. So this would be a place for you to put this in, okay? Maybe you're taking an order for somebody else and it's being requested by, you want to put it in so that they know. And again, these are optional. So I want you to click save in your case, Katie. Notice that you have the option to add another item. I'm not going to add another item here because I'm trying to move you quicker into a different form. Okay. So use the back arrow,
Yeah.
Katie, the back arrow in the toolbar. Yep. Scroll down. And there's your desk. Can everybody see that?
I came down,
On TV, you can go.
yeah, so.
Yes, they can see it right now.
Floyd managed to give them override?
No, they can see it on my screen.
You're fine.
Okay. Okay.
Can I share my screen real quick, Rain? Just need you to
Yes.
show me where it's at.
Okay, accounts pay, no, GL, sorry, GL, general ledger, sorry. That's my fault. General ledger,
That's what I would.
add,
I'm like,
and override budget amounts. It's the fourth one. There, that's it. Oh, there is a, now that you're there, click the, Floyd, click on it again, click on it again. You see where it says GL year access? Down below, GL year access.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, click those three and then go back to permissions after, yeah. And go back to GL again. They're not allowed. Okay, so no, that's perfect. That should be okay. That's all they need there at
Okay.
the moment.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, sir. So they need to refresh though in order to get it, I think. We'll find out. But let me finish this because I'm just worried that the other group is going to come in. Okay.
Just try going down.
What time do you have the other group set up to come in?
10:45.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Now, no need for me to worry then. Okay. Go back to sharing, Katie. We need you to go back to sharing because I'm seeing myself only. There. Okay. So is everybody can see the screen here and you can see the total? At the top says 1,000. Down below, it gives you your line item. Are you all with me? Okay, so go down and click on the line item. You see where it says 1? It's a link because we want to double check it, right? And what did we forgot to do is attach the quote. Am I correct?
we can't, at least.
You have to refresh it and redo it. What did you say, Raina?
You would want to attach the quotes that you have, right, for these desks. Am I right?
Sure. Yeah.
Click on the attach. When this opens, you see it says requisition attachment. You can see it again later if you want. Okay. This brings you to what we call TCM, which is our data, you know, where all your documents reside. So you want to attach, so you're going to go to the plus symbol. Can everybody see where it is in the corner? See that?
There's too many.
Okay. And you see the little, yeah?
Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Any questions anybody has while we're doing this?
We had to refresh everything here.
Okay, now save.
Okay.
They're trying to start all over.
That's okay. That's good at practice.
Okay, now go back.
Did you add item?
I did that crap.
And scroll down. Hit
Go
your item.
to, here, yeah, go
Line
down.
one.
Add allocation.
Then you attach.
Floyd,
Yes.
I'm thinking that if they connect to the meeting, I would be able to troubleshoot on them quicker too. Between the two of us for the,
Oh, okay, we can do that on the next one, I
yeah,
think.
if that's okay.
Oh, you're where I'm at. Trying to put this back here.
Did you hear that, Katie?
Yeah, so you want them all in the meeting in the next one?
Gonna drive them crazy.
Now say, let me see if you can do it.
But that way it won't put so much pressure on you, Katie.
Oh, I don't care, it's fine. Save it at the bottom. And then go.
Okay, so
Go back.
I guess.
Oh, wait,
we-
for the
are we
description.
doing items of the day?
And the problems are learning exercises anyway, you know?
Okay, now save. Now go back. Wait, did you already enter an item? Yeah, so go back.
Lloyd, are you able to create like a document, test document that they could have that they could just upload?
Attach.
In TCM or just anywhere?
All right.
So that they could upload to TCM as practice? Do you know what I mean? Like have a folder with a test PDF?
Get back in so I can see that. Now. Hey, Raina.
Yeah.
When they're trying to attach stuff, hit that paperclip again. It says an error occurred while attempting to retrieve available document fields, types, and something else going away.
Okay,
So
I'll
then I,
have to look at it, but let's show them on yours. Leave them that they don't attach right now. Because we also have to check that they have the permission to attach, right, Floyd?
okay.
Which I
Yeah.
think we did give him, but
Yes,
just to be
everyone does
sure.
have read and write in TCM.
Yeah, so you see, without being connected, it's hard to see it, Katie.
Mhm.
Let's see if you get it too, okay?
I'm already in TCM. I can add.
Oh, they're not even able to open TCM.
No, they can't even get into TCM. When they're, hold on. When they're getting,
Do they get this?
they're hitting the paperclip and nothing comes up right here. I don't know if,
I got it. It's an error occurred.
Okay.
You're showing there too.
I'm still stuck on trying to override the budget.
He's trying to override the budget.
did you give Brian override? Floyd?
Yes, they might need to refresh.
Yeah.
Who
Okay.
can't do it right now? Brian?
Yeah. Trying again.
Okay, he might be in a different data group. Let me check.
That's pretty fancy on that. He's fancy like I can be.
All I do is like,
Sing no dance.
Burger Street steak.
You're making me hungry. Stop.
see, if we got donuts, we'll be fine.
It's just money.
Not mine.
It's not in the budget, though.
Girls on treated lines.
I'm coming to your house.
Steady seat.
Right around to the left.
Katie, can you do it so that they see the whole process for the moment?
What do you want? You want me to add one?
Yes, ma'am. So you're going to add one. You see the arrow pointing up before the little scanner. We're going to click there.
Down.
Okay.
I don't know if I have anything in here. Hold on.
Down.
Okay. We're going to have to create some for you. Okay. But do you have any PDF anywhere? Like maybe even something I sent you?
Hold on. I'm looking for one.
What's your role? She's the boss. She's the boss after all. You get ready? Charlie, we don't talk about that.
There you go. Tyler training dates. Perfect. And then you're going to, you could actually drop it in. You're going to upload it. You still haven't uploaded it to the system. You're just looking at it, right? In this window here. The beauty of TCM is that once you have it uploaded, it's linked to that requisition in particular. And any document that's linked, you will be able to see in any instance of TCM. That would be the PO, the purchase order, the invoice, the requisition, everything that's related. So in this case, to save it, you want to make sure you use the floppy disk. And you know you saved it because on the left-hand side, can everybody see the blue? It gets populated. So her requisition number 3, the date, and that's what it's linked to it. Okay. And don't worry, because we're going to be using attachments regularly. I just don't want you to ever forget how important it is that you are attaching the just, you know, whatever it is that you need on the to attach to be compliant, right? Okay. So in order for you, once you attach, right, when you're working with the requisition, the attachment, it always opens in a different window. So you just go up and close the window. Okay. And you can, it's loading it. You see the 1. And now the little paper clip has a 1. You see there? So if you wanted to attach more, what would happen if it had another document? It would say 2. Whatever number of attachments, you need to put in 3 quotes, you know, whatever it is that you need. All right?
Raina, I have a question.
Yes.
So from my point of view, are the unit price, is a unit price mandatory to complete this requisition? Because, you know, we send out the request for quotes without a price per item. We don't populate that until we get the quote back with the actual price. That makes sense?
Yeah. You wouldn't be doing the requisition, right? Until, like, at the moment, you could make any changes you want in it. So if you got a quote with a different price, unit price, which is the one you're going with, you would put it in. Whenever,
Okay.
isn't that? Like,
Yeah,
you're
I
not
think
going to
what we need-
release it for approval, right? Until you have the price you're going with.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right now, Raina, we can do a request for quote that's similar to a requisition that we can send out rather than typing up a separate quote. We can do it from the system and then turn that into the purchase order after we have the prices.
Okay. No, so in this case, you wouldn't be releasing it until after you've had the 3 quotes.
So can
And
you put it
decided
in
on them. Enter it, yeah.
unreleased without a price and send
Take-
that out to get the information? And then once you have the prices, put them in and release it.
Delete the price and save it. See if it lets you. Let's test it. Better than me saying anything. Okay. So are you able to keep it there? Yes. The important thing would be that you don't release it.
Okay.
Does
Okay.
that make sense?
Yep.
Go back out. Use the back arrow here if you want. Do you see here the total is 0 at the moment, but it kept it printed. Go back out again. And you can see it in your list. It should be able to. With a 0 money. You see that?
Okay.
And then if you click on it, it should open again and you should be able to work on it. You can do whatever you want on this requisition until you release it. You do not want to release it until it's ready. Does that make sense? You would not want to release it until you have all the information correct. I want you to go to open it again, which is the Staples one we're working on. Did that answer your question, Michelle? Is that okay for them? And can I mention something, if possible? Michelle, you see where it says review?
Yeah.
Michelle, we could create review code that says pending quotes, so that anybody looking at it knows why it hasn't been released. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that might be a good idea.
Yeah, I think that would work perfect for you guys. And
Randy,
mhm.
can you, everybody else might know this, but I don't. Can you explain what release and unreleased means?
Yes, we're gonna do that now in a minute.
Okay.
I'm just still trying to show you the structure, if you will. You know, like this is the requisition. You go down, scroll down. You have one item in it. You see there the word item? Scroll down, Katie. Uh-huh. And I'm going to have you add another item. So click add item. Okay. And go straight to description and put chairs. Notice everything else is the same. Change the quantity. How many do you need? What's the price? Right? Click on the three dots, pick the account. Now, Katie gets to do it easy because she has, okay, but in this one, Katie, I want you to scroll down again because not every time those accounts, right? Do you see you had the option? I want you to click on the X because you made a mistake and that's not the account. Yeah, delete the allocation. Can everybody see how easy it is to delete it? You have an option, copy the GL account. Do you see there? If it's the same one. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
You have another option. Maybe you're splitting it in two. So go to the word percent. Say 50. Tab. And it's asking you here to enter a second account that's going to split the allocation. Does that make sense to everyone?
Mm-hmm.
Because in real life, you're not going to always do one or two, right? As long as both accounts, the percent adds to 100, right? That's what you're looking for. Where is that cost going to be split in? Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah.
Okay. There is another option as well. Can you see allocation codes? If your organization decides, they might even have a code so that when you click on it, it will give you all the accounts that you need. Okay? So there's many choices that as you get more familiar with the program, you might use. All right? So at the moment, just know how to enter a basic rec and say save. You would have been attaching a document, right? You would have attached your 3 quotes if needed. Maybe this is part of the first one, so you only have to attach the 3 quotes once. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So go back out. Now you have, scroll down, how many items? 2. Can everybody see that? Now notice that it's only picking up the first account. Click on office chairs, but you do have the second account there. Okay. Go back out. All right. So it's not broken. It's just giving you less information in there. Okay. Now, you ask me, what does release mean? We're going to pretend it's totally ready. Release is when you say, my requisition is ready and I'm going to send it to for approval. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what release means. You want to save it, Katie? Make sure you saved everything.
My save is grayed out.
Oh, is there something funky going on with yours?
Are we gonna have an approval workflow set up
Yes.
for our purchase orders?
Yes.
Because we don't have one now.
Did yours tell you that it didn't have any?
Or do you just mean what we do now?
Katie, go to office chairs. Delete the second account. Go back there and put 100 and save because we use the copy one. See if it lets you save it. Save. Now release it. So release into workflow. This is where it's going to go to the different people that's going to be set up. Okay. At the moment, there isn't a workflow yet. So it's obviously skipping that part. When it gets approved, right, by the last approver, then click continue. It gets converted automatically to a PO. Now in real life, you're going to release it and leave. You're not going to stay here waiting on it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So Katie, I want you to, when it stops, right, I want you to say, okay, we'll have to find out what's going on with your proxy and everything else. Something funky is going on with this. Wonderful. Okay, it did it anyway. Okay, perfect. I want you to go to your Tyler hub, Katie. And refresh the hub. The way you refresh the hub is clicking on the logo. It only works for the hub. You click on the hub. Everyone should have a notification if they released it and it got converted. Do you see that? When you get a notification, Katie, let's do that a little slower for them. Just click in the middle of the card. You see where the one is? Do you guys got the one?
No.
They're just watching me.
Okay. So you click in the middle and it's going to tell you requisition converted to purchase order. You see that? On the right-hand side, you're going to scroll down. There's information here on it that tells you which one it was, right? If you keep scrolling down, you're going to find your purchase order number, which in this case is number 1. Very original. It's probably going to be the year and 001. Does that make sense to everyone? So you can copy and paste from here. You can close it. You can dismiss submit, and it cleans it out. Close, and there it's gone. Now go to Purchase Order Central. Enter a 1. Press enter, and there's your purchase order. Can everybody see the purchase order there? All the information. And then in the centrals, if you click on the gear in the blue line, select all because you want to have loads of information. Say okay. And you can see that this purchase order, there's more information on them. Also, if you go to PO lines, right? Click on the tip of the arrow. You can see information. You can copy and paste the account. Go to account inquiry and check the account if you wanted to. But there's a lot of good information for you here. Okay. If you were, it would also bring you to Vendor Central if you have. But let's go back to requisitions at the moment. Okay, let's go back to requisitions. And let's do an add again. I would like to get them working on it. Is it that they're running into trouble in the program, Katie? Or is it the override that they need to refresh?
No, I think they just couldn't do the attachment.
I just got mine to come up.
They should be able to now. All users have TCM access.
Attachment, and it's just an option when you're in there, so you can go back out of that. Go to the top where it says release.
Okay,
Within your
thank you, Floyd.
I think you were that one.
Floyd, while they are doing that, right?
Did it release it?
Can we go and create some review codes?
Go to PO Central.
Sure.
Back to the hub.
Michelle, what do you think? We might as well. Katie, let me know if you need us, okay?
Okay. Have it too.
Yeah, I think so.
And then this one.
So Floyd, do you want to share?
Yours, I don't think yours released. Go back to requisition. Go to notification number. Permissions to allow you to update requisitions within it.
And go to financials, purchasing, setup, and miscellaneous. Go up a little. Miscellaneous codes. See miscellaneous codes? Down, down, down. There. Oop. Up, up, up.
Okay.
There. You keep skipping it. It's under standard notes. Floyd.
So Raina,
Yes.
2 of them have released their requisitions and they have an error or a notification that says permissions do not allow you to update requisitions you've entered.
Yeah, they cannot touch it after they release it.
So then does someone else have to convert it to a PO or is it already converted to a PO?
It's going for the approval process. If somebody converts it, it will, if it's going through the process correctly, it will be converted automatically. They
Why
would
would-
leave and check in the front if it's been converted. They would leave the program.
Refresh.
Okay, and refresh the hub.
No, the Teams.
Say add here,
Hold on.
Floyd, and code type.
I don't know.
Click
who
on
did it.
the tip, requisition review code,
Have what?
and say tab. Let's say code, yeah, tab. And we can say here, see if it lets you type quote.
Oh, you didn't put it on.
No, it's like license plate writing. How about if you put 110?
Try to do it up there.
I mean, I'm just saying anything. Description,
Going out there. We're deep frying it there.
a vendor quote,
Okay, so
awaiting vendor quotes.
we go to release.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Not me. Hey, Floyd, do you know who their approvers are?
I can tell you. Is there any?
Oh, hold on. I can tell you.
I'll check it now, Katie. On the short, say quote.
You're sending it to the number.
And instead of awaiting update, say pending.
You have no
It's probably better. Update the description and say pending vendor quote. Does that make sense, Michelle?
Rascal. Yours, it says you don't
And
have.
say accept.
Any requisitions related.
Okay, see if that works for them. Okay. That's all we need for now. I mean, it's also an idea.
Tighten up, Brad.
Katie, what's happening?
So, hold on one second.
You want to share your screen now?
Mine's fine.
Thank you, Floyd. Yeah, but do you want to share it?
Hold on one second. So when we're releasing all these other guys besides Brian, his was fine.
Let's
guess-
go see their requisitions. Open yours, Katie.
Hold on. Let me get there.
Yeah.
Oh, am I sharing?
Not yet. Okay. And let's see your, okay. Go to requisitions. Okay. Go do an advanced search. Mhm. And here do fiscal year only, 2022, and search. Okay. Which is the one that they're stuck with?
I don't know.
You can click on the, you can click on any of the headings and it will sort as well.
So like these are released, but they're not.
Okay. So click on any of the released ones and let's see. Okay, go to where it says actions approvers. So this has gone to Brian Hinson,
That's who did it.
I approved my own.
but he's also an approver. So it's real easy. He needs to go in there. When you go in there, Brian, into the workflow, you see the little cancel, that little traffic light.
He already
It
approved.
will tell you that you can approve. You can also go to the hub. If you click in the front, in the hub, you will have under approvals a 1.
Yep, I see it.
And if you click on it, it has
Kristen.
little square with an arrow that brings you there.
Yep.
Why is Kristen Casey's approver? Like,
I don't know, but that can be fixed.
She usually does all of the POs for Public Works. That's why she was the approver.
Okay, but Floyd, you can send it to somebody else. Remember, go to Workflow Central.
let's see who the others are.
If you go to Workflow Central, you can do it too, Katie. Actually, if you don't mind sending it to Katie, Floyd, it'd be great.
She's in one of them next. Like I have to do this tomorrow.
Okay.
Let me know when you sent it to her. So that's what's going to happen in real life, guys. It's going to go to the approvers, and you might want to know where it is. All you have to do is click on the little traffic light, and you can see where it is. Does that make sense? In the process.
You don't have that. I got you.
Tell me when you've changed it, Floyd, and all.
Go to Workflow Central, Floyd, and you can click on even the name of the girl in the front. Share if you need me, okay? Okay, everybody else was able to enter them, right?
They're all just waiting.
Okay, so let's all go back to requisitions while we wait. Because in real life, you might have to enter another requisition while it's being approved, right? Click on add, and this one you're really gonna love, I hope. Okay, I want you to go to, in the toolbar, to where it says custom interface, and go to quick entry, and apply, not edit, apply. Can you see how that's a lot smaller?
Yes,
Isn't that better?
You put that on the cracker.
kind of.
Oh, you already did it.
So let's enter a requisition here.
They're mad at you.
Were they able to apply it?
I still got 2 words for desk.
Okay, so let's enter a description for this requisition.
That's one reason I came and stuff up. Donuts.
Sorry. Now I've let down 6 people.
What happened?
Oh, just the administrators here now.
Requesting donuts.
Yeah. So I'm.
Yeah, we're slave drivers. No donut, no coffee, no break. Okay.
Now.
Now
Did you
go
get those, Katie?
What?
Did you get the ones I forwarded to you?
Hold on.
She will in a minute. Click on the yeah.
We add new things.
Yeah, I got 3 of them.
Yeah, so click on that and approve them.
I will approve.
Select all. You're going to be nice to them right now, just for training and just because of time.
Now you guys should. What the?
Oh, look, it didn't like it. Or you either that or you got 2 more.
I got 1. Oh, I might have 2.
Did you get a thing? Now go back to your hub
Go back to the hub.
and refresh and see if you got a notification.
Mm-hmm.
All of you, besides
Oh
Brian.
my gosh, I just shop online.
Yeah, it doesn't like you doing too many approvals at a time, Katie. It's forcing you to do it one by one. That's fine. I'm not going to complain about that one.
Shop online.
Approve.
Shop online.
Oh, Katie, know that you could have approved it in the document, right?
Sure.
So click on this one. Let's go through it because it's giving you trouble anyway. Yeah.
Quick entry. I want a quick entry requisition.
I need a hammer.
Oh, Floyd already approved this one too. Click approve.
I'm canceling it all.
It just needs refreshing. It's already been approved by Floyd.
Refresh. See if it-
It says it was approved by Floyd.
Lloyd, why are you approving stuff? Come on, man.
He's not from.
It was my purchase, so I figured I'd prove it myself.
Drive, Floyd.
Get what you want,
Not
Floyd.
it's water.
Get him.
It's giving us trouble, Floyd. No, not settings. Go to the little arrow at the top. Yeah, it's saying something. Let's check what that error is. Click on the action approvers. Click approve, Katie. See if we can get the error. Yeah.
Have no requisitions awaiting your approval.
Following error. Okay. Error processing. Requisition is not sourced. Okay. You don't have a vendor. All items must have a vendor. So click on the desks.
Guess he didn't do it freaking right, that's all.
And he didn't put a vendor.
What did I do?
Yeah, I gotta put a vendor in there, ding dong.
Well, shit.
Yeah,
It's
operator
okay.
error.
It won't let you. Yeah, it won't let you go. Or approve it without it.
No, I
It's a
did.
lightning bolt. It's a lightning bolt.
That's gonna
Lightning
be
bolt.
crap, yeah.
No, go to actions and approvers.
Pretty normal.
Come on, problem. Still not there.
There we go.
Fine.
I wanna go.
Uh-oh.
There's button.
Remote server. Don't like us now. Close.
Go ahead and
Okay, now
activate
try.
my requisition.
It's gone.
When adding a file to your content, so to speak.
Okay. Did everybody apply the shortcut?
Yeah, I'm in. Look at me. I'm buying something.
Are you flying buying stuff?
Hey, look.
Don't forget to do attachments. Now, there is something we didn't put in the short entry, right? And this is what I want you to draw your attention. This makes life easier when you're entering it, correct? But let's say that this is a requisition that you created, but you're not going to release it because you have to look for the quotes, remember? Katie can click on custom interface, go back to none. No, just click there, go to none, apply. It simply will show you, it doesn't matter that you already started it, it's just the interface, right? Go to review. and put in pending vendor quote and save it.
It's got a quick share, right?
Did it change what you had entered? No. It's simply how you look at it, okay? Does that make sense to everyone? And if you needed a field that's not showing in your quick entry, you can always go back to none, okay? It doesn't matter if you already created it, if you're halfway there, doesn't matter. The quick entry is just to make your life easier, that you only see what you need to enter. It's a time and money. You go quicker. Right? This one is pending vendor quote, so it's going to stay there. There's a few more items that I would love to show you, but we just wanted to start showing you what you can do in the program, things that are available to you, and how easy it's going to be, the process. And then once you have it entered, you release it. That's the end of that for you. Then you would wait to go to the Tyler Hub in the front. Katie, go click in the front. And remember there, you would get your notification that it has been converted to a PO, and it even gives you the PO number. Whether you receive on it or whether you're just going to go look at it, whether you're going to get an email with it or the vendor is going to get an email with the purchase order, it has already been created. Your next time to ever deal with it would depend on what your role is, okay? Any questions?
Nope.
Observations? Did you like it?
Oh. Oh.
Is it?
Raina, I have a question.
Yes,
Raina, so when we do, we put a pending vendor quote and then we go to add an item, will it let us leave the vendor spot blank?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Let's do it. Don't ever take my word for it. Okay. And the reason is I want you guys to be comfortable in the system. Sometimes, right, you want to see what your system will do when you do that. And that's why these environments are very good. You want to test it before you go live. Okay. So
Our next group's going to be coming in shortly.
I know. So that's why I wanted to make sure we cover it. But do go there, Katie. Go to the requisition. Does he have one? You left that one right now blank with nothing in it. I think it's the second one down below. And you put in pending vendor quotes. It doesn't even have an item. Does that make sense?
I think mine froze up.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so I just did one and left the vendor blank and it allowed me to save it, so.
Yeah. You can do anything you want to it until it's released. That's when you cannot do more. If you released it without the vendor, did you see how it got stopped for the approver?
Yeah.
It got stopped by the approver. If it gets rejected, does that make sense? If it gets rejected, you would get notification telling you that it got rejected and why. Okay? And if it gets rejected, all you have to do is activate it, go back to that requisitions.
Hold on 1 second.
Are you going to reject one? Perfect. Rejected. Yeah.
Rejected.
Yes, please. Reject. Put a reason. It's required when it's a rejection.
Not a very good employee.
Well, that wasn't very damn nice.
I think it was yours. That was for West Treatment Plant.
Let's hope.
Charlie don't
Must
know
be talking
yet.
about chili. Must be talking about chili.
Oh, I do something?
You have to enter a comment or it won't.
I figured it out. You gotta go up here for the ad.
Are you rejecting them all or approving them?
What is,
I
now
read
add
that
what's
one.
here. I'm adding some more, watch here. There you go.
Bad request. This is this one.
Reject this one.
Oh, shoot, sorry, I already
Save that one,
accepted it.
I'm buying 32 chairs.
Can I have
32 chairs.
4 tables, 30.
It doesn't like that. Hold on. Process operation are. Oh, because it's tied to an email and the email system is not working, Floyd. Does that make sense? He's not able to get the rejection email because there is no email linked to
Okay,
this
there.
environment.
Emails should be working. I'll check into that.
Yeah.
Problem?
$50,000 truck. You reject that?
I didn't get it yet.
No, she couldn't reject it.
I don't think I got
Okay.
it.
Now go back,
Yeah.
go back to requisitions, just to show you. The only difference is that if you get it rejected, right? When you go here to requisitions, you have to activate it. You see the little thunderbolt
Mhm.
so that you can make changes on it or delete it. It depends on what you want to do. Okay.
Dear Lord, what have we given them access to? Hold on, Raina.
Go to my search. Yeah, do another one. You're only looking at finance right now.
Oh,
Click search.
At
Open
the
it
second
and
one.
click search. Go down and click search, Katie. You're not clicking search. Anyway, I want to thank you all for your participation today. Okay, and the idea is to start getting you comfortable with the system. It's only your first day, so don't. I think we did pretty good. You didn't explode it yet.
Hey, Raina, I have one last question.
I'm
And
happy to hear it.
I'm sure we'll get to it, but it's just gonna be rolling around in my head if I don't have an answer.
Please, yes.
So we do a requisition with multiple items with no vendor. We
Yeah.
release it, it produces a purchase order. Are we gonna
No.
be able to set?
It won't produce a purchase order unless it has a vendor.
Okay, so that leads me to my question. Are we gonna be able to assign multiple vendors to those multiple items on that one requisition?
Okay, if you, it is not recommended. If you do that, right, I would suggest and best business practice that you do one requisition per vendor. Because if you were to do more than one requisition to more than one vendor in a requisition, it's going to become different purchase orders because it can only be one vendor for purchase order.
Well, no, that's fine, 'cause we'll wanna send different purchase orders to different vendors.
Yes, so you would want, but you would be better and cleaner to do one requisition per vendor. Does that make
But if
sense?
we don't, if we don't know what vendor we're gonna use till we get the quotes,
Mhm. You can just later on delete the item and create another requisition. Does that make sense?
kind of, I guess we'll get to that though, right?
Mhm.
A little bit, but we'll get to that later in training, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
You will be practicing more and you should be, to be honest, the best thing you can be doing now that you know what's coming is to get things organized so you have actual samples that you can use to test.
Okay.
And the more complicated, the better.
The other one on there?
Does that make sense? Because you want it to be real life scenarios.
$50,000.
These are all converted, by the way. And you see the purchase order number right there in front of you as well? They were already converted. You can see the purchase order number 4.
No, Greg sees another one.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Did you prove it?
Anything else, guys?
No, Greg's on that one too.
No.
Over a certain amount.
Oh, ma'am.
Okay, but do start thinking of requisitions that you enter that you would like to test in the system. Okay,
You didn't see the one I sent you?
Hold on. No, it didn't come through. Raina, I'm gonna mute you for a couple minutes. I'm gonna get the other guys in here and get them logged in and stuff.
okay, and I want to say thank you again. Okay, lovely working with you guys.
Thank you.
Raina, do you want them in on the meeting or just me?
I would rather they are all in the meeting so that if there's a problem, we can just quickly access their machine. You
Okay.
know what I mean?
All right, give me a few minutes.
Okay, no worries. The other thing is, Katie, as they're coming in, can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you go to the desktop of their computers, right? Is this yours? Go to your desktop so I show you what I'm thinking might be a good idea.
I did all that.
Go straight to your desktop. Are you on it?
Yeah.
Okay, I just don't see it. Okay, right click in your desktop, create a folder, say test documents,
Hold on.
right click,
You do that.
new folder, test document.
Oh, this isn't the computer I'm gonna be on. Hold on, let me get on the other one.
Okay. But you know what I'm trying to say that you can do, Katie?
Yeah.
And you could do it for them. And just,
Katie, I wouldn't want to be in your shoes today. Hey, good fun. I'll sit right here by. Katie, so I can cheat. Katie, I done.
There's no tabs.
I done put a microphone on the wall. Lunch.
Okay.
I was expecting lunch. I mean, you're making. I'm gonna take.
Katie, is this the machine you're gonna be in?
Yeah.
Okay. Right click, new folder, test documents. Open it, right click, new PDF. Is there a PDF there? Say Word then. Word, test. Open it. Type test, test, test. Quick save. Just a quick save. I know the other one, yeah. And now go file, save as. And do PDF. And save. So we should have two. Perfect. So if you could do that in theirs, it'd be perfect. And the other thing, Katie, if you don't mind opening the program real quick,
What program?
the Munis, go to requisitions. And go to add. Go to a custom interface. Go to quick. And edit. Whoops. Edit. Not edit. Okay, go down to review and show. Just click on review. That's it. Save and apply.
Okay.
And now go back and do custom interface none and apply. Because I want them to start with that one. Okay. And then save. That's it. Close. Goodbye. Thank you. We're ready.
Let me get them logged in real quick, okay?
No worries.
Okay. Hey, Floyd, will you make sure Heb, Bruce, and Chief Misi can do everything before we get in there?
Yep. You just put a name of, they already should be set, but we'll go through again real quick.
Thank you, guys.
You guys can just log into the computers with your
Michelle, anything else? We okay?
Jay Heberly.
I think so far.
Were
What's your
you
email
okay
password
with
you know
what
that?
I did?
What?
Email password?
Yeah.
We're good.
Thanks.
It's not working.
This one didn't bring this card with. I didn't bring the card with it.
Oh, that's what the problem is.
There's no cards now.
You're getting rid of the cards too?
The cards aren't working currently.
I thought mine did this morning.
So
Katie, you want to stop sharing and I'm going to put my presentation, okay? Mhm. Thank you. Katie, let me know.
We're having a login issue, so we're working on it.
Anything I can help, Floyd, let me know.
Is everyone in, Katie?
Don't hear anything.
They're into their computers, but we're still getting them into the meeting and Tyler, so hold on.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
We should be seeing them coming in then. Floyd, did you see what I did? That I edited the template. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that, and you added a review.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna add that into production too. So
Mm-hmm.
they were supposed to do a refresh yesterday. I fixed all these roles, like Public Works. I split them out into 5 different data roles instead of 1. But they never did the refresh. I don't know why.
First, they did it too quick. And now they didn't do it. That's not great. Okay, we got it. James is trying to come in. Could it be a security thing that it's not letting them in?
It was a login issue, not a Tyler issue.
Because it's not letting him accept him into the meeting though. It has him waiting in the lobby. James, I don't know if you can hear me, but would you try again? Because it's not showing, it's not allowing me to accept you, if you will. Okay. Ooh, kill the audio. Hi, Todd.
Hello.
And James should be there too. James, can you hear us? There's reactions where you can give me a thumbs up.
Yep, I unmuted you now, man.
Thank you, James.
I don't see a reaction.
Yeah, feel free to use those reactions either to stop me or to give me a thumbs up because of the fact of the audio.
I believe we're just waiting for one more, and then we can start.
Okay. Can the two of you see my presentation, James and Todd? There's Bruce. Okay.
I think I can see it.
We can see it on the screen too as well.
Perfect.
Where should that be at?
Go back into my email or into your email and get, there's 4 links. Get the one that says
Thank
test.
you, James.
It's in that top email. You put your email in there. Did you get into Tyler?
I.
Go to that other tab.
So it's asking for a username?
Yeah, it's your username.
Everything?
Okay, go to return to home.
We got 2 pages going on here. Oh, this is confusing.
Mm-hmm.
I only do one thing.
James, are you on the hub right now? Are you looking at the hub?
Yes, he is on the hub right now.
Okay. And Todd, are you in the hub?
He's logging in right now.
James, see if you can share your screen.
Hold on, I'm gonna have to help him with that.
I have no idea how to do that.
Oh, let me tell you, look, at the very top or in the middle, there's a button a red button that says leave, right? Before it, there's a box with an arrow pointing up. So it's like a share tray, it says. So when you hover over it, if you click on it, it shows you the different things you can share. Did you see it?
Okay, now click this. And share. So now your screen is the one sharing up there.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Now go back to.
Yeah, because we're gonna get you doing the work.
Oh.
Now click hide. Just sit there for a second. Did you get in?
Can I push buttons?
I come up about this job.
Perfect. Okay. So James, I do have a presentation, but you're gonna be my victim here. Okay. My guinea pig. Katie, give Katie a break. Let's make sure that you have.
Okay, so that you have.
Now I'm gonna steal the sharing away from you.
Okay, we're all in the hub now.
Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna steal it to start the presentation. Can everybody see?
Yeah.
Okay.
Either.
Okay. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Raina Flower. I'm an implementation consultant with Tyler Technologies. I'm going to be doing a presentation first to give you a general overview, and then we're going to go and work on the program itself. We're trying to work only on purchasing today, on the beginning of the purchasing process, which is creating requisitions. But I do want to give you a little bit of an intro to the programs and the hub, okay? There is an echo at the moment, Katie. I don't know if it's if it's okay. I'm going to mute you while I'm doing the presentation.
Okay, we don't hear an echo, and I think we're all muted. Go here.
Yeah, it's only
I
this
can
one.
hear it, yeah, it shows it's coming through theirs. We had it a little bit the last time too.
We did. But just for the recording, I'm going to try and mute you just for the moment, and then we'll come back, okay?
Okay.
But make sure that you can hear me. All right. So can you guys hear me still? If you give me a thumbs up, that'd be great. And the reactions, even if it's just one, Katie, you or Todd or James. Perfect. Thank you very much. Okay, so we're going to start. Again, my name is Raina. If at any point you don't understand my explanation, feel free to stop me and we can go over it. You know, I'm more than happy to explain it in a different way. What's very important to me is that you understand what we're saying, okay? My first slide here is more or less to represent for you what you're going to be seeing in Munis, okay? Munis Enterprise ERP, it doesn't matter what program you're looking at, every module that you're working in is always going to be based on the same parameters. And those are what has been assigned to you based on your role as permissions. Those are usually, we mentioned the word roles. So it's really what you can see and what you can do in the system that has been defined by your role in the organization. It also affects what items you can see in the menu. So especially in the beginning, we're trying to make sure that you can see the programs that you need to do your job, and you can also do the things that you require to do that job, and that the data that you're seeing as well is comprehensive for your position. So at any time you find a limitation, this is the moment for you to raise your hand. We don't want you to have to see a menu with 30 items if you don't have to interact with them, Okay, so it all works for the benefit of you being more efficient at your job. Module settings, whenever you hear the word settings, it means defaults that are also being put into the system, telling your organization is telling the system what they want this program to do. But if you don't have the permission to do it, you won't have the, it won't appear for you, and it won't be a feature that you can use. So all these things are going to influence how you work in the enterprise ERP. There's also another word that you will be hearing again and again is workflow. And you'll also hear business rules. Business rules is the instructions that you create to tell the system to do the workflow for a transaction. I like to explain workflow with a picture, which is here. Is all that running around that we used to do with the piece of paper, who gets to approve it, who has to see it before that transaction gets posted to your accounts, before it becomes a valid transaction. And here on the right hand side, this is what we're trying to do, is create business rules so that this process is done through the system in a more quicker manner. Okay. So again, these are things that you'll be listening again and again every time on the training, but it's to give you a bigger picture, and part of your involvement is for us to be able to test this setup. So today we're working on the purchasing module, and I want to bring in your attention that there's 2 items that begin the process. One is what we call the requisition, which is what we're going to be interacting with today. The requisition is just an ask. The requisition, when you create it, it's simply putting in your request to be able to send it to approval through that approval process, workflow, whatever it may be, without holding on to the money in your GL, in your general, without taking the money and putting it aside, if you will. You're just saying, would you consider that this is what we are requesting, and you're sending it through the process of approval for whatever long that process takes. Once it's approved, your requisition gets turned into a purchase order. And once it's a purchase order, it has commitment issues. Once it's a purchase order, it's holding on to those monies in the accounts. So if you had a change to that purchase order, because it has commitment issues, now you have to deal with a purchase order change order. Okay, so while it's in the requisition process, you fill it in, you complete it, it's ready to go, you release it. Once you release it, that's the end of your involvement with the requisition. You cannot make any more changes unless that requisition gets rejected. If it gets rejected, you have 2 options. You can delete it, because maybe it's just not going to happen, or you can modify it and release it again. Before you can modify it or delete it, you have to activate it, because remember, it comes in rejected. And that's the system process. Again, you would release it or delete it. Once it's a purchase order, you have a change, it's commitment, you have to then do a purchase order change order, and that there's going to be a procedure in your organization as to how it's done. But I do just want you to be aware of that. Also, there's 2 types that you're going to be interacting with. One is a normal requisition, and one is what we call a blanket requisition. It is important for you to know that either one of them is going to have an encumbrance when they become a purchase order. Okay, both of them encumber the funds. So, and the difference, and we'll be looking at that in the program, is that normal requisition is usually liquidated, expended by 1 or 2 maximum invoices, while a blanket one is expended by many invoices over time, received most of the time by amount. Okay, so we will be talking more about that when we go into the program. For now, what I want you to remember is a requisition you got to remember to release it. You have to let it go once it's complete so that you have finished all your modifications to it. You're releasing it so that it goes for approval. Okay. The purchase order, they have commitment issues. All right. That once you're working with a purchase order, if there was a change, it has to go through a purchase order change order. Okay. So this is very much the basic steps. You would create a requisition. You're releasing it through workflow for approval. It gets approved. It gets converted to a PO. The PO is generated. It's posted. Anytime in Munis you hear the word posted, it means that it's going to the accounts. Okay. Once it's printed, printed means to Munis that it went to a third party. Whether you emailed it to the vendor, whether you sent it by post or by mail to the vendor, it's going to register as printed in the system. Okay. Then it gets received, which means that you are receiving. James, I'm hoping you could still hear me. Receiving, and then it gets paid and liquidated once you have received the items and the invoice from the vendor and processed it. Correct? Can everybody hear me so far? I'm hoping. Okay, so again, you've seen by now I'm pretty visual. I like visual. So I'm going to show you a little graphic that I have that shows you the process. And this is what we're working on today, this requisition that we're creating, which is the first step in the purchasing process. You would allocate it to accounts, you would put the vendor in. Once it's ready to go, you get it approved, it becomes a purchase order. Once it's a purchase order, it gets sent to the vendor. The vendor receives the purchase order and acts on it. That purchase order then, it's received. Once you get the goods, once you get the invoice, it goes to invoice entry to AP. And then once that's done, the check gets run and they get paid. Okay, so what we're trying to do through the program is make this as easy and user-friendly as possible while still remaining compliant. Okay. Any questions so far? Does anyone have any questions? Bruce, James? Todd?
No, we don't. You had us muted still.
Okay. Katie, for some reason, there's still an echo. Are the other computers muted?
Yeah, they are. I think I
Yeah.
Is the TV muted?
the TV muted. What do you mean?
We had an issue before with volume trying to come through the TV and the computer was picking it up because you have to have the computer unmuted, and I wondered if that was what was causing the echo.
Thank you, Michelle. It could possibly be.
I don't know if they're talking now.
If we can unmute one of the computers that are further away from the TV and mute the one that's connected to the TV, that might clear it up.
What'd you say?
I can hear you now, but I'm the one with the echo then. I mean, we can hear.
Mute the computers closest to the TV and one that's farther away from the TV. Unmute that one to use for a mic.
Hi, Casey.
Is there still an echo?
Yes.
Can you hear us? So that didn't work.
I can hear you now.
Okay, that made the echo even worse.
This sounds great right now. Oh, no, that goes back. Okay. I'll just keep muting you for now. But
Is that any better?
yes,
Okay, I just turned the
I
volume
think
up.
it is.
Well, if the echo's coming from when one of us that's not in the room talks.
Can you hear me with an echo?
No, you don't have an echo on our end.
Okay, Michelle,
You
you
do on
hear
my
me
end,
well.
but that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got one too, but that's fine.
I'm just wondering if we are hearing it is going to be all over the recording, but I'll keep going. Okay. So let's get started. And I was going to, James, were you my victim or Todd?
James.
James, okay. You've been volunteered, right?
What's your son?
So James, I'm going to stop sharing so that you can share.
Okay,
I wonder if we lowered the volume on the computer and raised the volume on the TV.
James, do you remember how to share?
oh, do I go with the hub or
The meeting.
It's
Meeting.
in the
and then I go
windows
down here to.
next
share
to the
tab,
red.
Desktop window, share.
Look at you learning.
I think I did it.
Mine turned off.
You did, look. Except you're looking at the program, so just click on Tyler Hub, which is a tab. You have a tab at the top.
Hold on.
You see in the Windows tab, you have a tab called Tyler Hub.
Go to the Tyler. Okay.
What this time?
Up, up, yep. Perfect. Okay, so let me make this a little bigger. Okay. What you're looking at, James, and the same for everybody else in the meeting, right? Is the Tyler Hub. Tyler Hub is the window to all Tyler products. I'm going to have to mute you because I can't, I'm talking to myself twice. Caitlin, I'm gonna have to mute you there. Okay, so what we're looking at, right? Tyler Hub is that window to the Tyler world, not only to Munis. Now, what you're looking at is what we call a hub page. So a hub page is made of different individual cards, and you know which cards they are because every single one of them has 3 dots on the corner. You see that? 3 dots. So we're going to have a problem working with James because James doesn't have a Munis menu, Floyd. So he doesn't seem to be recognized by Munis. So what I'm going to ask you to do, click there. Okay, there we go. Now you got it. Okay, perfect. James, you're perfect. So you see the Tyler menu? You see how it's a card? It has the 3 dots in the corner right? So what I want you to look at is that Tyler menu. Notice that you have financials, departmental functions, and help. Everybody will have different programs depending on what they're needing to do in the organization within Tyler, within Enterprise ERP. So I want you to go to the word financials, click on the tip of the arrow in front of it. Yeah. And this is where you're seeing our products, if you will. So go to purchasing. And what the system is showing you, what your menu is, you have purchase order processing and purchase order inquiry and reports. Because all reports that are applicable to this program would be within purchase order inquiry and reports. Click on purchase order processing. and you see requisitions, I want you to right click on it and add to favorites. Okay. I want you to go to purchase order inquiry and reports down below. Close that one. That's a different program altogether. James, close that one. Just close the munis when it there. The eggs. Yep. Okay. Go down to purchase order inquiry and reports. Now, you see there, purchase order central. I want you to right click on it and add to favorites. Notice on the right hand side, you have favorites. You have two categories. You have one called recent activity and one called financials. Click on the financials, tip of the arrow, and there's purchase order central and requisitions, right? Go to vendor inquiry on the left, right click on vendor inquiry and add to favorites, and you'll see it appear there now. You see that? Okay. Now scroll up in our menu. Look, see how our menu starts expanding? Scroll up, go to the three dots at the corner, and that's where refresh is hiding. See it? Click refresh. Let the system work for you, okay? Now go to the word search and type the word central. No S, central. And press enter after. The system is showing you the centrals that you have permission to see. And everybody will have different centrals that they can see. Right click on vendor central and add to favorite. Depending on what you have, what you can see and what you can do. At the moment, I'm just trying to show you how to move around the menu quickly. Go to the X next to central. In the search, click on the X where you type the word central. It removes the search. Type account inquiry. And press enter. I think it has a U somewhere in there. Yeah, take out the word inquiry. Just take it out. You don't even need it. Say account only. If you have access to account inquiry, it will show. Okay, you see account inquiry has a number next to it too. The reason that you have the number 2 means that it appears twice in your program. Does that make sense? So twice in your menu, you have 2 instances of that program. If you hover over it, it's going to tell you where it is. Munis Financials Account Inquiry, go down. See another one, go to Accounts Overview. Purchase orders by GL account might be a longer one. I just want you to see that's the long address of how you get to it, okay? So just close it, click on the X, yeah, and it bumps your uncle, right? Okay, so there's 2 areas. You have your Tyler menu here, you have your favorites, that's gonna make you go quicker. We will be discussing these hopefully when you have some hub training before you go live, just to give you a few extra things that you can do. But for the moment, know that the Tyler menu and favorites are going to be a very good way for you to use the hub for easy navigation and for information. Okay. The recent activity, you see that tab up there, it will show you the places, the last 10 places you've been. It's a dynamic category and it's going to be, if you will, changing as you navigate the system. So the last 10 places that you've been at, so if you were working in something and you don't remember how to find that program, you can always go to recent activity and it might be there. All right, it's It's a quick way for you to find things. On the right-hand side, you have Tyler links, which could become quick links. You could have links to your organization, to ESS, to a third-party software, to different things that you might need in your work, okay? So those links on the right-hand side are just quick ways as well to get to some. And again, we will have more training. I just want you to be a little bit familiar with the window, okay? So now scroll up using the outside scroll on the right. Scroll up. You see the approvals, notifications, and alerts. These are part of your workflow. Approvals are things that require your attention because they will not proceed. That transaction will not proceed if an approval hasn't been granted. So approvals will stop the transaction until you act on them. Be aware of that. Sometimes the approval will disappear because there might be more than one approver, and whoever is quicker at the draw approved it, it will disappear when they refresh your system. Does that make sense? Please feel free to stop me if I'm going too fast or if you have a question, okay? Because remember that I've muted you all, so you would need to stop me. Notifications are things that are not going to stop the transaction, but they're going to be notifying you, letting you know that something happened. The best example we're going to work with today is that when you create a requisition and it becomes a purchase order, after the final approver gives it its okay, you're going to see it here. Make sense? So notifications are things that they want you to be aware of. Somebody needs to see it, but it's not stopping the transaction from being processed. Alerts are another type of notification. It could be alerting you that a contract is running out of time. It's going to be expiring. It needs you to go in and consider the contract. It could be an alert that a year-end task has been assigned to you, and it's letting you know, calling your attention so that you go in and look at it. So these three cards within a page are there to let you know that they're part of workflow. They're what we call workflow. Okay. On the left-hand side, you have some icons. That is a sidebar menu. If you click on the lines before the logo, go back up, all the way up to the logo. Yeah. That expands that menu when you click on it so that you see what these are. Again, I'm not going into all of them because you will be having, we will be hopefully giving you an introduction to Hub. But right now, I want you to see there is your home page, which is what's going to open. There's your Tyler menu. If you click on it, it's the same as your Tyler card. The only difference, if you click on it, is that it also links to any other program that you might be working on with Tyler. So remember the whole concept of the single sign-on that we're going to with Tyler Identity is that you would be able to sign in once to the world of Tyler, and then you would be able to work on any program that you need to with the same username and password without having to have 5 different names and passwords for 5 different programs. The Tyler menu, if you click on it again, I want you to be sure that you see it has other programs in it, but it also has the same search at the top and refresh at the bottom. This time it's at the bottom, not in the 3 dots. Do you see the difference? Okay. So if you were to open it, click financials, go down to any of these, accounts payable. Yeah. Click accounts payable, invoice, vendor processing. Because I want you to remember the program is vendor central. And it would bring you straight to that program, okay? And if you click refresh, it closes it. So you can start again. Okay, close this menu. The reason that you have two is because there are other pages that you might be able to look at in the hub. And when we do hub, you will see that. That might give you information that's relevant to you. So when you're opening these pages, you wouldn't have access to the menu card. So you would be clicking on Tyler menu to go there. So you still have access to the important navigation of Tyler menu and favorites. Okay? Pages is where those pages would reside, if you had any, okay? But no worries, we will be doing that again. So right now, this is just like an introduction for you so that you at least can see a little bit. Okay. Oh, okay, great. So do me a favor and go to my logo. The logo is called the Talking Tees because we talk a lot. Some people say tumbling tees, but it is Talking Tees. Click on it. Only in the hub, it will refresh your program. Only in the hub. Okay. As you can see, we're using the test environment. Can everybody see that yellow strip? That's telling you what environment you're in. This is one of those that you can test in. Okay. Now go down to the favorites. And we're going to go straight down to requisitions, which is what we're working with today. And let's see that the program opens for you. Okay. Everyone else should be doing the same. Now, when you open the program, what it did was go through your permissions and see what permissions you had. You see that little plus symbol? Don't click it. But it only appeared because you have permission to create a requisition, right? So what I want you to do is click on advanced search. Okay. In advanced search, you have the ability to search the database, but through any of these parameters, using any of these. You also have the ability to save the search. So this becomes extremely useful. So I'm going to show you here. I want you to put fiscal year 2022. You see where it says entered by on the right-hand side? Okay, you could look for your username. Click on the three dots. There's a filter at the bottom as well if you don't see yourself quick enough. Okay, now go scroll all the way down and save it. And this is capital F, capital Y 22 for fiscal year 22. And you can do dash or underscore and put James, your initials, JH, and say, okay. Now, delete your name, James Heberly. Go to department, down on the left. What's your department? You can click on the three dots or start typing. Yep, perfect. There you go. You see it? You got to click on it. And now save as. You see the save as? And call this one FY22, move the JH and do department street. Just type street. Okay. Okay. Then go up to the top. You see there's a startup search. There's an option that appeared. Once you have saved searches, you can choose one. So in this case, choose this one. And save it again. What you've just told the system is whenever I open this program, instead of a blank sheet, I want to see all the requisitions. That makes sense? That are for my department. You could have 10 searches. Now cancel here. Close the program. Nope, not there. Oops. Uh-oh. We're in trouble, James. I didn't mean close units. Close the page. He's gone altogether. Bruce, did you and Casey or Todd follow us? Katie? He actually closed the whole thing. Are you guys still there? Hello? Casey, did we lose you guys?
I don't think so. We might need to unmute.
Yeah. Oh, he's in a room upstairs. Okay. Casey, are you able to follow what we're doing? Is it working for you?
Can you hear us now?
Yes, Todd.
We have a lot of feedback if we're not unmuted, but they're working on James right now.
Yeah, and that's my fault. I said turn off the program. He took me literally.
They should have him up here in just a minute. Clint's down here, not Katie.
Okay. I see. Welcome back, James. Todd, is it working for you as well? Are you following us? Are you able to
had
do
some
it?
computer problems and Floyd's helping me and I'm getting caught up.
Okay, stop me if I'm going too fast at any time. Because it's more important that you guys follow it, okay?
Yes, thanks.
You're welcome. Casey, are you able to follow us in the room you are? On your own system?
Can you hear me on my mic right now?
Yes, I can. Yes.
Oh, perfect. Okay. So I actually don't have access to the Tyler site on my computer right now, but I am following along with what you're doing. I am watching.
Okay. Do you need Floyd to send it to you?
Yeah, I'm relatively new to this position, so I haven't had anything set up for me yet.
Okay. Okay. So Floyd, did you hear that?
Yeah, you are set up,
Okay.
Casey. You just need to log in. I'll send you the link.
Okay, thank you.
Because the more you start, Casey, it'd be great.
James is back up.
I see that. Hey, James. Okay. Sorry for that, James. Don't close the program again. Hey, James, just to show you something as well. Do you see your initials that say JH? Click there. That shows you how you signed in, who signed into the program, okay? Your email. In case anybody ever asks, you can check right there. Also, if you check on the question mark and go straight down to Tyler About, that tells you what versions all the programs are in, okay? If anybody ever asks you. So we're in 2021.3, okay? Close there. Okay. Now we go back to requisitions. down below. Remember in your favorites? Yeah, he's already flying it. This time it should open with that search that we told it. See that? Now there's no requisitions you've created, but it did the search, okay? And we will see more on it. Go to My Searches. You see there, you have two separate searches that you created that you could at any time edit and you could at any time close. Does that make sense? So that would be very practical for you to have if you're tracking an account, if you're tracking, you know, any requisitions created with that account, or you're tracking requisitions from your department or entered by you. This would be a great way for you to do that. Okay. Casey, were you able to sign in before I move on?
I've not been able to sign in yet, but that's okay. I'm taking notes though as well.
Okay, it's being recorded too, but don't give up on trying. Okay, so click on the add, James, now, because there's no requisitions yet. We're going to create one. You see, these are all the things that you can keep, you can search by. Right? I only did 2 for you. Okay, so now go to the add. And the first thing I want you to notice is that a requisition is going to default. Most of the things will default for you. So if you look at the very top, 2022-4, created by James, 09/15/2022. You see that? So it's giving you that information already. It's defaulting straight in. If you scroll down, you see your department street. That's coming straight from your user attributes in the program, meaning you are registered as part of that department. Do you ever do requisitions for a different department? You would want to change that. But that's based in, again, permissions. It's going to default anyway for you. So you scroll down, you see description. Okay, if you were entering commodities, you would have entered it before. Description is the description for the global requisition, not for each item. So here you can say office supplies. Is just type office supplies. What would be a requisition that you would create yourself, James? Let's be realistic. What would you order? Salt? Okay, salt it is. But salt, do you order, this would be bags of salt, I would imagine? Am I correct? Bulk salt, perfect. Okay, tab. If there is a buyer, it might default for you down below. You see tab is your friend in Munis, okay? Tab, click the tab key in your keyboard and it keeps moving you through, okay? If buyer is something that is relevant to your organization, you will be able to enter it here. Keep going. Keep tabbing. It won't allow you to, this is a person, not the industry, that buyer. Does that make sense? If that buyer is your internal buyer. Now, this is the type of requisition that you're using. The only one that you guys will be working with would be a normal and a blanket requisition. And the difference of those two is that a normal requisition can be received in amount or quantity, and it's usually liquidated in 1 or 2 invoices. A blanket requisition is one that might be open for a long period of time because it's going to be liquidated or expended by many invoices that are received by amount. Does that make sense? So it could be a certain amount of legal hours. It could be, you know, and it's going to be received by amount. It could be that this salt is you're purchasing a big amount, but you're only going to be expending it, right, as you receive it in quantity, in amounts, not in quantity. Does that make sense? So we'll leave it in normal tab. Review is an area where you guys seem to might be able to avail of it. Is while you're creating the requisition, if you don't have the vendor quotes ready, you can put it in pending vendor quotes so that you know what status this requisition is in. Does that make sense? It's just letting you know. So for the moment, let's leave it. Let's pretend you have everything. Needed by, this is at a global level. And honestly, that's usually left blank because needed by is an ask. When it's for each individual item, you also have the option to put it in there. And it would be more a question of there's a requirement for that item to be in the received by a specific date. Does that make sense? The PO expiration date, when this it's going to expire, is not usually set by you, but by AP. On the right-hand side, project accounts are not going to apply in this one. See there, they're not applying, which means you're not going to have the strings available to enter. You're only going to be able to enter full, you know, GL, general ledger accounts. If you had project accounts applied checked, it means that you're going to be able to enter what's called the project string, which is like specific project for the purchase. You're linking it to a specific project. Okay. Notify originator when converted or rejected means you're going to get notified using those tiles that this requisition has become a PO. Okay. Notify originator of overages has more to do with receiving, and that will be tested later on. But if you were to receive more than you ordered, they might notify you of that. Receive by amount. If you're doing a blanket, you want to check that. What that is doing is saying requires to be received by amount. If it's a normal requisition, but it's still being received by amount that you're spending, you would also put it here. Okay, the three-way match is not something, and three-way match and inspection is not something that you would usually check, so it's already grayed out. Scroll down. I'm showing you all of them so that you have some understanding of it. You will not have to, if you will, interact with them. If you notice, we've entered very little. Go click on Add Item on the left-hand side. See the Add Item? Now you're gone from the global to the item. So what are we going to order? So the word item at the top refers to inventory. You're not active on inventory yet. So go all the way down to description. Description is the only one that you require here. So let's say you said salt. So are they bags of salt that you're ordering? What's the actual item you're purchasing? A truck, okay. Truckload of salt. You had to make it difficult. Thanks. Let's see how this looks. Truckload of salt. Okay. Do you measure that in cubic feet, or how do you weigh it? 100 tons. Okay. So let's go up to higher up, scroll up. Vendor, I want you to click on the word, yeah, there, and start typing the name of your vendor. See how they appear? Give it a chance. Is it there? Is it showing? Once it open, once you see it, go click on it. Keep typing. Maybe you need to put more, or is it? Notice that it automatically defaults the address for the vendor, but that might not be the address where they want you to send the purchase order, right? So click on the word vendor. Okay, and you see where it says PO mailing. Click on the 3 dots. Let's see if they have a different address. They might or they might not. They're both PO boxes, so they don't. Okay, so that's, if there was, you could change it. Does that make sense? Okay, close it at the top. Okay, so you have the remit address where it's going to. It also lets you see some of these items are based on permissions, whether you can change them or not, but at least you can see the print. That's how this vendor likes to receive his purchase orders. Somebody has to print them and mail it to him. Okay, does that make sense? So click on the X at the top of vendor details. Yeah. Now go down to ship to. You see ship to? It based on your department, it's picked up the address where these goods are going to ship to. Now close here because you might, I want to show you a quicker way to deal with this. Click on the word ship to. Okay, so here you have your ship to and your bill to, so that you, if it's different, you see how one is going to City Hall, the invoice is going to City Hall, while the goods are going to the street department. These are your defaults. Can you change them? Yes, but it's good for you to know that it's trying to save you time and money, okay, by defaulting. You see the ship to email down below and the bill to email. So again, if there is a difference or if there is a product that you're buying that is a downloadable product, because you know nowadays you might be buying a certification course. So if you were doing that, you want to be able to put in the ship to email so they know where it's going to, okay? The bill to email is again the one for billing, but the ship to is the one here. Reference, is there an important reference that you need to add to your order? Do you need to say who to contact or who is it going to be delivered to after? You know, you might have some reference field that you need to use. This is where it is, okay? And special handling, is there any special handling for the goods you're buying? So say, okay. So loads of options, okay? The email that you're looking at here is the ship to email, by the way. But if you have a bill to, it will default. Now let's try and figure out if we can do this sold in unit prices and unit of measure. Let's start by looking at the unit of measure because you have each. I don't know that you have tons. So it means that you would probably have to talk to Floyd. If you're going to be ordering in tons, you need to be able to have the option of tons in units of measure. Okay, James? So it's very important that at this stage, if you see that you're missing a unit of measure that you intend to use, you need to be raising that flag and letting him know. Okay? So unit price for per pound is how much? Scroll up because you have to put how many you're buying. And how many pounds in a ton. Scroll up. Yeah, you see quantity. Okay, so you see automatically it's doing the math for you as well. Can you see it at the top? Total cost 5,600. Okay, scroll down. Oh, you're changing it on me. Are we okay? I think it'd be more expensive. Wouldn't it? What do you think? Put it as real as it can be, okay? Make it as real as it could be, because that way it will make more sense to you. Okay, the discount percent, freight amount, those are things that are optional here. You might or might not need to interact with that, okay? It might auto-populate if there is one, if the vendor has a discount percent in their record, okay? But if they're giving you a percent separate, it might be something that you put in. At the moment, just scroll down. Let's add an item. So now, sorry, this was our item, add allocation. You see there, before you click on anything, do you see how it says add allocation and allocation code? Allocation codes could be created by your organization that would have more than one account, or one account that you just have to click there and it will do the distribution and put the account for you, okay? Add allocation, if you click, is going to give you the option to enter an account. See, it says enter GL account. Click there. Okay, it's already defaulting your department in the org. You see that? So if you click on the three dots, you should only be able to see here your expense accounts that are relevant. So there's 41 accounts. So where would this be paying going from? It's performing a budget check. And what do you think that red line means? I can't hear you, but I'm hoping that you got it. It means that you cannot proceed because there's no budget. Does that make sense? You have no money. You ran out of money. So it's asking you to change it and look for another account, which you would click on the X and change it, or you would have to request a money transfer, you know, from finance or something if it has to be that account. Does that make sense to everyone? If you click there, it would delete it and it would be gone. Now, in the test environment, I think, Floyd, you're giving them override permission.
Yes, he should have it already.
Okay, so click on add allocation, pick the same account down below, enter GL account on the left again, where you were. If you know it, you can type it in, by the way.
I think that refresh that they just did might have messed everything up we said.
Oops. Yeah, so I'll tell you what we're going to do. Click on the X at the moment, release it again, throw it out. We're going to save it the way it is. Go down and save it. Floyd, do you want to go in and add it again, the override to the...
I'm doing Bruce's right now. He's the one running this right now, isn't he?
It says James.
All right,
James.
Oh. Okay, James, do me a favor. Go back out, use the back arrow. So you see, this is your purchase order. Scroll down. It total cost 5,600 and it has truckloads of salt, 100 tons. You see there, the one line? And you're not finished yet. If you click on that X, you would delete the item. So we
You
don't
should
want
be
you to
good now.
click there. If you click on the one, click on the one. Mhm. You're back in looking at it, right? Scroll down, go to add allocation. Let's try it one more time. See if you can type it if you know it. Do you know it? And you'll see the difference now is you still don't have budget, by the way. Click on budget summary. See the little budget summary there at the top? It's telling you you're going to be on the red, but at the moment you have superpowers, which you will not have in real life. And they're allowing you to keep going just for our testing. Make sense, James? But you will be on the red. Know where we want you to be. So click on the X at the top. Okay. Notice that it's 100% to that account. You see the word percent? If you wanted to, you could say it's 50% here and 50% there. That makes sense? You can split it in the account. I do want you to be aware that when you're splitting it in the accounts, the system understands that everything that's received is going to be split in those two accounts. Okay, so let's save now that it took it. And go to, you have different options. You could add another item here. You could have added one save and add item. Let's add it here. Click add. Do you need shovels for those salt things from the same vendor? Go down to description, not there because item is from your warehouse. Yeah. Might as well buy the shovels, right? Scroll up. We're buying it from the same vendor. And how many shovels do you need? I'd say at least 2, right? Oh, 10, cool. How much are they? It's okay, say okay. Tab. I think you're, okay, there we go, more like it. Okay, so go down to allocation. This time you have another option. You have copy. If it's the same account as the first one, you can just copy. It's trying to make your life easier, okay? And say save. And now go back out. And there's your total is 5,880. And as you scroll down, you can see the breakdown of the two. There's the 280 and the 5,600. And you can click on either one. So let's go back to truckloads of salt. You see at the top, it has paper clip. See the paper clip? Click there. This is where you're going to attach. So click on requisition attachment. And you always want to attach to the name of something. If you ever see the word generic, I want you to remember that that's a bad word and you're not going to use it. Because if you attach anything to the word generic, it's going nowhere. Okay, it is not linking it to a document. So So in this case, we're doing requisition. Say yes or no, this one, it's just letting you know. Sorry. This is bringing you to Content Manager, which is the program where your documents are linked and reside. Okay, you're going to attach this document by clicking on the add symbol on the left. You see the plus symbol? It automatically already tells you on the right hand side, you can see the number 4, that it's linking it to that requisition. Okay, so the first thing I want you to do is, in order to attach it, you have to find it. So go, you see the arrow pointing up before the miniature scanner? There's like a little arrow. If you had a little scanner in your desk, you might be able to link it as well. But here we're going to use the arrow. You're going to click on choose files, or you could have picked and dropped a file. Do you have a PDF here? Let's see. Click on the Word documents. Let's see if we find anything in here. Yeah, double click there. And custom office templates might work. Yeah, click test. Perfect. We found the test. Say open. Thank you, Katie. And say import. Now you're looking at it. You're still not saving it, by the way. You're looking at it. Why do I know it's not saved? Look at the blue line on the left. It's not populated, right? So if I change my mind, I can go and get another paper. It's going to tell me that you're overwriting it, but it's going to delete that. It's not uploaded it yet, okay? Now, we do want to keep this one, so you're going to go to the floppy disk, and you might be too young to know what a floppy disk is, when I tell you my age. You see next to the plus symbol, there's a floppy. It looks like a little square on the left, all the way in the left before the, yeah, that's a floppy disk. Click there, and it's saving your document. You know it's saved. Look, populated the blue line. That's the dead giveaway, okay? On the right-hand side, you can see the attachment file name is the same name that the file is saved in your computer or wherever you brought it in from. That's always a good thing. Attachment title might be something that you're told by your organization to use when you save this document. It could be quote number 1 or vendor quote. Do you know what I mean? It could be something that you were told to put in later on. Scroll down, the system is automatically linking it to that requisition, to that fiscal year. You see that? Okay, let's do another one. Click and add on the plus symbol again. And this time when you bring it in, bring the word one, because I want you to see the difference. You see the arrow pointing up again? Click on that. Choose file. And this time, pick the word and say open. PDF and images will always show. Word documents will show as a link. So you have to save it first. So click on the save before you can really look at it. Now download test doc, click on it, but it's still brought it into the database. The only difference is because Windows has so many options, versions, that that little viewer in the middle really doesn't keep up with them. So in order for you to see it, you end up having to download it after you save, okay? So try to stick to PDF. It's always going to be easier because you can see it, or images. Notice that related documents at the bottom, when you're looking at one, it shows you the other on the left-hand side. They're linked inextricably and forever. No, what I'm saying is the beauty of TCM is that all documents linked to this transaction are going to be here. As you move on, they carry as well. So you would be able to see them, okay? This one will become purchase order attachments. So close here. TCM is a separate program. And you can just, by clicking on them, see them. So you have to close at the top. It's going to say 2. You see there? So you know that there's 2 documents. And the little paper clip now has a 2 on top. You follow? And you can attach documents at any time. Be aware of that. Okay. Now, let's scroll down. Yeah. You should be, are you ready to release this? Is it, let me show you the optional details. We didn't go through those. Click down below. You see where it says optional details? There might be optional details that they ask you to do. These are by item, okay? And if you see on the right-hand side, you do have the required by. So if this item needs to be in by a specific time, this might be a place for you to put it. Or if you had a requested by. Again, these are sort of optional, okay? So if you want to put any of them, feel free. Aside from that, remember you make any changes. This is if you're ordering something that's going to be allocated to a specific employee. Not something you probably would be doing regularly, right? So go back out from the item using the back arrow at the top, right? And you're back here in the front. Click, are you going to add anything to bulk salt or is that okay as it is? Would it be and shovels? Down below? Don't add that. Go down to bulk salt. James, just a description and shovels. What you're looking at is the heading of your requisition. Does that make sense? So bulk salt and shovels is a global of what this requisition is ordering. The individual ones have their individual line items of what you are actually buying. Does that make sense? So if you scroll down, you can see the individual items there. So if you had 10, you would have 10. Make sense? Any questions so far? Any stop points that you guys want to stop me or anything? Click on save because you did change the description. Okay. Okay. Now, what's left for you to do once you have completed the requisition is to release it so that it goes through the approval process, through being approved. So you would go up there, click release. Yes, we're sure it wants to go and get approved. In real life, you're not going to sit here and wait for it, but you might want to know where it went. So if you click on the action approvers, the traffic light, the little traffic light, you can see where it is. It's gone to Kristen White. Okay. If there were more steps that it needs to go through, it would show you here. Floyd, can you forward it to somebody?
Yeah, I'll forward it to myself, I guess, because I'm not sure who all's
You
over
can
there.
never forward it to yourself.
No,
It's
I
the only
can't.
safety, but you can forward it to Katie.
Okay.
Okay. So in real life, you know, right, James, that it's gone to Kristen. So cancel here, and you're going to have to wait till she approves it, right? So cancel, go back out, use the back arrow. And guess what? Look at it right here. It tells you it's released. There's 2 items. It's going to convert to a purchase order. And once it's converted, you're also going to have the number there of that purchase order. If you click on that requisition at any time, you'll be able to see it. It would open. One of the other things that you have is that, let's say you had 10 of these showing, right? You would, and they ask you for a report of what requisitions are open. You can click on any of those statuses, on any of the headings right there in front of you, vendor, entered, status, and it will sort it. You can do a search. Remember the advanced search on the left? Yeah, advanced search. And you could put in what they want. Maybe they only want a specific type of requisition, whatever it is that they want. Once you call it up here, right, you have the search the way you want it. Close at the top. You only have one, so it's hard to show it to you, but know that it's there and test it. Click on the X at the top. Once you could say by vendor, once you do the search the way you want, you can Excel. You see the Excel at the top on the right, and it would give you a report, okay? An Excel spreadsheet with all of them that you have in that search. In this case, it's only one, so I don't know that you want to do it. Yep, super cool. You want to open it so everybody sees it? So you see how this could be used for reporting as well, and even for your own maintenance of things, right? So again, close it. And anything in blue is a link, by the way. Okay. Any questions? Now I want to show you something that's very cool. Click on add again. This time, I want you to go up to the top where it says custom interface. I want you to look for where it says none, click the tip of the arrow, and go for quick entry and apply. Okay, so you see the quick entry? Doesn't it look a lot more user friendly? It doesn't show you all these items that maybe you don't have to work with, right? So this is a time and money. It means you're only seeing what you would need to see. Enter a requisition, James, create a new one based on whatever you want. Do one without me, if you will. And I'm going to give you a hint as well. You see the description here? You don't even have to enter it. If you go to add item, whatever your first item description is, will default. It's just I wanted you to see that you can have a global description. You're not going to be using item because it is inventory. I might have to take that. You might be using it, I'm not sure, because that depends if you use the inventory module, okay? The item. So just go straight down to description. That one is required. And everyone else who's following, enter one yourselves. Go get the custom interface and enter a requisition. Tab is your friend. Is there a vendor or you don't put the vendor yet? Remember that you can start typing it is easier. If not, if you want to have the whole list of them here, you have to use the filter at the bottom unless it's an easy one. Does that make sense, James? You can use the filter. How about if you choose, choose a city. If you're looking for a specific vendor and go by, you have to still type what the filter is on the right. Mhm. What that is asking is if you see the address that they have, the one you picked was not the default one. So it was saying that you want to change the address to that.